Well, good evening. This is Tyrone Holmes, the founder and CEO of the Men of Semper Fidelis. We want to welcome you back to our YouTube broadcast. And we'd like to introduce everybody again. Say to class, hello. Hello. All right. It's good to be back again. This is our Quest for Authentic Manhood class. We had this class started back in March, and we have learned a tremendous deal about what a true man is all about. And tonight, we're going to do a little review of our last class. This will be part 3 of our class that we have presented to you on our YouTube broadcast. We thank you so very much for tuning in and doing the views that you have shown and giving us some positive feedback on what you have seen thus far. So we want you to sit back and enjoy. For a few minutes, we're going to review what we have done in our last class. And that last class was the call to authentic manhood. So we welcome you and hope you enjoy. All right, gentlemen, let's go back into a review into what we discussed about a month ago. Well, it's been a month. Well, it's been a couple weeks. About 3 weeks now? About 3 weeks. About 3 weeks now. Okay, it's been a while since we've been talking, since we've been here. What is a man? What does a man act like? How do you describe a real man today? What does he do? How does he feel, respond, and live? All right, let's go to 2 past societies called to manhood. We found out one, that the community was very, very important in raising boys. Back, let's go back 50 years. When I was coming up in the 60s, and I know Brother Granville can remember that, Brother E and some of the other brothers in here, and Brother Antoine, remember those days when we were growing up, how very, very important that was. The community provided ceremonies, celebrations, and passageways. Now, we come to a question, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, when does a boy become a man? Can anybody ask that question? In your own saying, when does a boy become a man?
Age 21.
You think so? Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you said that, but that's the wrong answer. Okay? Well, we talked about when he gets a driver's license, all right? When he has his first intimate affair with a young lady. A diploma, military, sports, when he leaves home. B, the family. We talked about it. We talked about the church regarding manhood. The community is silent. The family is weakened, and the church is what? Compromised. All right, we can say today that the church compromises on every little thing today. Everything. All right? 3. Now this is what we're going to get down into it for the review. The biblical definition of a man. A, first Adam, second Adam. What do they represent? The first Adam represented what?
Separated.
Separated from God. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Now, what were the characteristics of manhood? What do we say? Okay, don't get that too deep.
Manhood set on a natural course.
Okay. What else?
Manhood based on instincts and reactions.
Okay.
Manhood that draws life from others.
Okay.
Manhood without transit meaning.
Okay, good. Okay, the second Adam represents life in what?
In union with God.
In union. So there's a big difference there. The first Adam was separated from God. 2, we're in union with God. So there's two different characteristics there, right or wrong? All right. So what are the characteristics under the union with God? Somebody else. Under 2 characteristics on the page 17.
Manhood influenced by spiritual direction.
Oh, manhood influence. Okay, good. What was the next one?
Manhood based on faith, not flesh.
Why does that get us in trouble? Why does that get us in trouble? When it comes up against faith and flesh. That's right. We talked about in our roundtable last week. We as men, we are moved by what we see, by what we want, what our desires are, what we think we need, and what we think we want. We are drawn by our lust of our eyes. So that gets us in trouble, and that gets us in trouble with God because we're fighting 2 battles, right? We fight a spiritual battle, and we fight a fleshly battle. Right or wrong? That's where the problem comes in at. That's where I have a problem at. All right, what was the next one?
Manhood full of transcendent meaning, purpose, and sense of destiny.
All right, and the last one?
Manhood that gives life to everything that it touches.
Manhood that gives life. Now, how many, the scripture tells us that life and death is in the power of the tongue. So if we're talking about manhood that gives life to everything he touches, are we really doing that as men? I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Me and Brother Antoine just left the jail a few minutes ago. You'll be amazed how full up that bottom part of that jail was. Just about an hour ago. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
He was there. He was Dwight was there. He'll tell you. Ain't no joke. So if we're being an influence on our society, then the jail should be full. Right or wrong? It shouldn't be that way. Because if men are taking their rightful place, the jail should not be full. But that means we as men, we are not doing what we're supposed to do to influence our young people. Because we're going to get into the word that Brother Jerome just said, we're very passive as a society now. That's why society is in the condition that we're in, because we're too passive. All right. 4. The 4 defining differences. The 4 defining differences. A, the first Adam was what? Passivity or passive. What do we say? What do we say passive means?
Not stepping up, not speaking up, not taking responsibility,
there you
not
go.
taking control.
All right. Okay, so did you hear what he said? You said at 21, so you said being at 21 is a man fully a man.
A man's willing to be bestowed.
Oh, that's right. Would you tell Frederick what you just said, what a man is?
A man is, the only way you become a man, you got to be bestowed upon you. You can't learn it yourself.
There you go. So your age, you could be 50 and you're still not a man. Because if it's not being bestowed upon you, then you're not a man.
With a company.
Or a company of men, exactly right. Now we can think that we're at 20, oh man, I'm a man. No, it don't work that way. That's all right. That's what we're here to learn. Right? All right. All right. Number 1, God created man to be what? Aggressive. Through sin, man got turned to violence and passivity. Through sin. We are aggressive by nature. That's why you think that sports are so dominant in our society today. Because of the competitive nature of man. Right or wrong? We ain't gonna let nobody push up on us, right or wrong? We ain't gonna bulk up sooner or later. We ain't gonna let another man take advantage. Because we're very aggressive. But society has turned that aggressiveness into sin and turned into violence. We see it every day on the street, though. Shootings and killings. I just seen on the board right there in the jail a few minutes ago how many people they are looking for murders committed in the city. They have not even solved yet. Because sin has turned the aggressiveness into violence. And what we talk about in our round table so much before is that when we get pushed up against the wall, what do? We come out fighting. Absolutely. Absolutely right. 2, men tend to be passive in social and spiritual responsibility that's bigger than themselves. Right or wrong? We as men, don't we usually, what do we do usually as men? If we go out with our girlfriends or our wives or whatever, what do we do? The first thing we do, we go stand against the wall like this and just check things out, don't we? Majority of the time. Do we get involved in the activities right away?
No.
It takes us a little time, don't we? Because we're checking things out. Right or wrong? We do it all the time. We're checking things out. Because we want to make sure that we don't make a fool of ourselves. So we rather be quiet and look and check things out first before we move forward. All right? All right. The second Adam represents what?
Responsibility.
Responsibility. Absolutely. God gave His Son Jesus some responsibility. We went through that.
A will to obey, a work to do, a woman to love.
Oh, that's right. Read that again. Say that again.
A will to obey, a work to do, a woman to love.
That's right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Absolutely. Okay, what makes men assume responsibility effectively? What are we talking about? You just said it. You just said it. Authentic manhood revolves around 3 responsibilities. A will to obey, a work to do, a woman to love. So what does that mean? We have to be willing to obey not only God's will, but the earth realm will that we work around. Because God puts people over us that we must be in authority to. Right or wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. You have to. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. A work to do. All of us have gifts in here, but are we using them? A lot of us not using them. It goes wasted. And then 3, a woman to love. That don't mean just a woman in your life, but all women, we are here to protect them and look out for them. That's our job. All right. And then thirdly, the second Adam reveals what?
Leadership.
Leadership. Absolutely. Absolutely. And what does he give?
direction, protection,
absolutely, and provision, absolutely. What were the three things that God said in the beginning in Genesis that man's job was? To protect, to lead, and provide. Yep. Those are three things he told us to do. Protect, lead, and provide. And that goes back to what we just talked about this thing. All right, let's finish this out so we go into our second thing. So what is authentic manhood? Here's the definition. All our YouTube viewers, if you don't know, this is what a real man is. An authentic man is one who what? Rejects passivity, number one. Number two, accepts what? Responsibility. Three, leads what? Courageously. And then fourthly, expects a what?
Greater reward.
A greater reward, which is God's reward. So a real man, YouTube viewers, is, what is authentic man? Rejects passivity, meaning that you're not hiding behind a door, or you're not hiding by things. You're speaking boldly, you're speaking firmly, you're standing on what you believe, you're not being compromised. Two, you accept the responsibility that God gives you to lead, to provide, and protect. Four, lead courageously, meaning you cannot lead your family, you cannot lead on your job if you do not have a vision to lead somebody. You cannot lead courageously. Am I right or wrong? You have to have a vision. The scripture says what? Without a vision, the people what? Perish. Absolutely right. You got to have a vision. You got to have it. If you don't have it, we can't lead. And then lastly, expect a greater reward, and that's God's reward. That is what real authentic manhood is all about. Well, we thank you for viewing us here on YouTube. We hope that you got something out of this. If you want more information, all you got to do is get in contact with us at www.themenofsemperfidelis.com, and we look forward to talking to you real soon. God bless.